Hello and welcome to another episode of New Gameplay. Today I'm your host Jeff Gork, joined today by Leo Vader.
Hey, man.
And our good friend Joe Juba.
Hey, man.
Hi, man. How are you?
Very manly today.
Joe, what are we looking at? Don't interrupt, Leo.
Sorry.
What are we looking at, Joe?
We are looking at The Outer Worlds
Okay.
by Obsidian Entertainment.
Uh-huh.
This is a game we did a cover story on a while back. It's kind of like if you're a fan of, say, sci-fi in general, combined with like the Fallout series, this is probably a game you will want to play.
And it's not to be confused with...
The bad Fallouts.
And...
I can't promise that I will not accidentally call this game Outer Wilds at some point today.
I'm batting a .000 in terms of getting that name right. So I'm just going to call it the OW.
Classy. So this footage is this is taken from a gameplay session that
You played?
I was at. So this is me playing. I'm going to apologize in advance if there are any moments where I am bad.
Okay.
It's because I have not played the game before.
And the controller didn't work well.
I mean,
It's not the one you're used to.
Yeah.
I may make that excuse.
Yeah.
It's a recurring problem on the show, it seems like.
Yeah. And the fact that games are literally impossible at times,
Yeah.
which is very frustrating.
So what's going on in your story here?
Well, okay, so what we're looking at is this is the planet Monarch, which is one of sort of several areas in the Outer Worlds that like the sort of premise for the universe is that it's this outer space colony that one of the colony ships didn't show up when it was supposed to. So they didn't have all of the colonists or all of the resources that they needed to build this, this sort of like satellite human colony, right? So what ends up happening is that all of the settlements are sort of controlled by these big corporate interests, and all of the people, like sort of the highest calling you can have in your life is basically just to be a good employee.
Okay.
I thought you said this was a sci-fi game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, realism too.
Right.
No, but I mean that sort of premise is, I think representative of the sort of weird humor that they're going for in this game. It's got that kind of, I don't know, like sort of a sardonic streak to it that, is. They were talking about that a lot when we went to go see the game in the cover story, but having played it for a bit now, I think I get to see more of that manifested in the dialogue and the way you can interact with people and stuff like that. And I think can't make any final judgments on it yet.
Yes.
Obviously, it doesn't come out for a while yet, but I definitely chuckled as I was playing it. So
Real quick, just to frame what we're looking at here too. When you were in this session, did you start from the very beginning, or did you have like a pre-made character a few hours in?
So I can't talk about the early stuff.
Okay.
We did get a sort of primer of like some time to just sort of get some background on what's going on. But that, even though I can't give any details on that, what I can say is this section here is further into the game. It's like past the beginning. I don't remember what level my character is at this point, but like you've gathered some companions, you have your ship, you sort of have a general idea of what's going on.
But you did not do these things.
Right. So where the gameplay started is where I picked up this character. So this is not a character I made. These are not quests that I am, remember picking up or whatever.
Okay.
So, but what we're doing right now, this is Nyoka, one of our companions. And your companions have quests that you can do for them, kind of like it seems like it's kind of like Mass Effect,
right?
So it's so in her case, we were talking over the dialogue, but there's basically people that she knows from her past, a couple of whom have died, that she sort of wants to pay final respects to and sort of like close the book on this chapter for her.
That's when you visited that grave a little bit ago.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing here, is like going to visit a grave of one of her friends that was guarded by a bunch of like weird monsters and stuff that we fought off. And now, as the next phase of her quest, she wants us to go talk to this guy named Hiram. So that's the quest we're doing right now. Do you remember, did you see the E3 demo for this game?
Yes.
Part of that, like there's a quest in there that sets you off, like going to infiltrate this, like a meat factory kind of thing.
This was a behind closed doors demo? Or is it out there?
It wasn't on the show floor,
Okay.
but they were showing. I mean, it wasn't just judges; they were showing it to everyone. But press anyway. And so I started at the same point as that demo. So I could have just gone and played through the E3 stuff. You know, it's like, like my version of that, I saw a sort of stealthy approach. I could have gone in there and tried to do a more action-oriented approach to it or something. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go out there and sort of, I don't know the right way to say it. Like, I didn't exactly want to break the game, but I just kind of wanted to go out and push the boundaries of it a little
poke around
more.
the edges a bit.
Yeah, so that's why in this playthrough you will see me like killing NPCs, important quest givers and stuff like that because I wanted to, you know.
So this is a way to satisfy your curiosity about that stuff without ruining your own save.
Exactly. I don't have to actually feel the consequences of it. I can just sort of see like, you know, how does it work when you do that?
Yeah.
So that's the quest we're going on now that I just picked up by, I mean, like when they dropped us into this demo, it just said no active quest up in the corner. So it's like, well, I guess I just figure out what to do. And I talked to Nyoka and she gave me a quest and I was like, yeah, let's do that.
That's gaming, baby.
That's gaming.
The combat. What's going on with the slow motion?
So
You're triggering that, I assume.
Yeah, I am. That's what they call TTD, which, and P.S., this is, I mean, a still in progress version of this game. So when you see sort of weird glitchy looking stuff like characters firing through rocks or something, you know, like they're still working on that stuff.
Yeah.
So the TTD is the tactical time dilation, which is kind of like the VATS system from Fallout. It's a way that if you want a more strategic approach to combat, you can have that. It's governed by that purple meter. Below my health up there.
Because it also gave you like a tactical readout of the enemy, right? It showed you what status effects it had on it.
Yep. So, and these are companion attacks. I mean, obviously it's my companion doing it, but I mean, it's something that I'm triggering. You can see them they're on cooldown down in there in the lower left. So if you press like left or right on the D-pad, that's how I can trigger Nyoka to use that big like machine gun barrage, or Parvati to use this like electric hammer thing.
Do they have multiple attacks, or is it basically she'll always use that machine gun barrage?
Cork, you took the question right out of my mouth. Great
You're
question.
welcome. It was such a smart question you had.
You too.
As far as I know, at least in this demo, they each only had the one. I don't know if they gain more or if those attacks get different properties as you.
Do they level
as the
up?
game progresses.
Your companions?
I was going to ask that.
I don't know. You don't have control over them. It's not like Mass Effect where it's like when you go into the level up screen, you level them up.
Yeah.
And this is a weird little glitchy thing too that we ran into.
Yeah.
This wasn't a stun.
Yeah, but I don't know. It might have been.
So is it maybe the way to, like, I'm sure we'll see the effects of it, but like if you complete this, what's essentially a loyalty mission, maybe there are some positive benefits for the character.
Exactly. And I wasn't able to actually complete this full mission, which, well, it's not that I wasn't able to. It's that for the purposes of this demo, they didn't want us leaving the planet. So we had to stay on Monarch.
Yeah.
And we'll get to a phase of her quest where it's going to take us somewhere else.
This is
I do want to talk about this.
This is one of the coolest things about the game.
Yeah. So these are what they call flaws. So we'll probably see more perks later. But perks are these really valuable things that you can take when you level up that give you different, like they're essentially how you build your character. In addition to you having points in how skilled you are in melee weapons or something like that, you also have perks that may, like, they will improve the cooldown time on your companion's super abilities or like things like that. Those are things that you invest in. They're really valuable. So when you take a flaw, you also get to take a perk. But I don't know, was that flaw? I think it was scared of lizards or something.
It was scared of the guys you've been fighting, the Manta Queens. It would give you debuffs to your stats when you're near those.
Yeah.
Which I love, just as somebody who's, played video games forever. It's like suddenly you're going to be traumatized by fighting this generic alien enemy. I love that so much.
Which I also kind of like the idea that it seems kind of counterintuitive, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's interesting that it's like in games normally it's like, all right, I have experience. I'm more experienced fighting Mantiqueens. And in this case, it's like, nope. You fight Mantiqueens and you've been traumatized by it. It's now harder for you to do that.
And that's something you're opting into also, to be clear.
Yep. So like in this case, for this playthrough, I turned that down. So I did not take the flaw. I did not get the extra perk for it.
There's other things like you're more susceptible to fire damage, if I'm not mistaken. Was that one?
Yep.
We've seen in an earlier demo.
And they're all related to things that happen, right? That popped up because you were fighting the Mantiqueen.
Exactly. Yep. One thing I want to point out about that time dilation thing too that's interesting is the meter does not drain at a steady rate. So when I activate it, if I stand still or just sort of move around, it goes real slow. But when I start firing, then it starts depleting really quickly.
Okay.
So it really does give you that, like, it's not just a slow-mo power. It gives you a chance to really kind of like freeze the battlefield in a way and let you plan.
Super hot style.
Everyone knows moving your legs uses less energy than moving your finger.
Yeah, I think it makes total sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
All these load screens are really good.
Yeah, I really like the art style for it. So in this case, we're trying to go talk to Hiram. He's talking to us over the intercom.
Pickpocketing.
And I'm just sort of stealthing around.
There was a pickpocket prompt. Just want to point that out.
I mean, I don't know why you pickpocket when you can just stealth kill and loot.
You would think that.
Oop, not my best shot.
Are these your best shots?
Man, the controller was just being real weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's dead. So.
Interference. That typically happens when I'm playing in front of people.
I think they've done a good job of tempering expectations for this game. Like it's kind of a small project. No, I'm saying
like a backhanded compliment.
No, I mean, honestly, they've talked about how it's going to be shorter than maybe some people are expecting. It's made by a smaller team than like a giant open world game would be. All those expectations being tempered, seeing this footage when I was editing it, super impressed. It looks like a modern video game. It looks better than
Say it.
the, low blow, but the creation engine. Bethesda's whole thing. It
my
looks better
goodness.
than that.
Yeah, I mean,
You.
I think it's. I think part of what they're trying to do is not get people into this game expecting some sprawling 80-hour like sort of Fallout experience.
Yeah.
Are they shooting more for replayable experience, or is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I played this game for a couple hours, and I feel like I barely scratched the surface.
Okay.
So it's not like, I don't think you should expect this as to be an 8-hour. When I think of something that's like really replayable or like leaning on that, I think probably in the 8-hour kind of range, right? I think it is probably in a good range to play twice.
Okay. How many times have you beaten Persona 5?
One time.
One time. Okay.
Yeah.
0.
Dang it! I thought I was going to get him, Leo.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. No lockpicking minigame.
No, you just do it. You just do it.
That's great.
Thank you.
Maybe that's something you can activate, like one of those negative perks. So you have to do a lockpicking minigame.
That'd be great. New flaw found in our game.
Oh,
a
man.
lockpicking minigame.
That would make me so mad. Yeah. So I mean, without anything, it's so hard to quantify how long a game is,
Yes.
right? Because for a game like this, if you're
And time's linear, it's a flat circle.
if you're a player like me, you really want to be thorough on this stuff, right? Like, I mean, for example, I'm playing, I'm just coming to the end of the game Judgment right now.
Yeah.
Which I was seeing some people online saying, like, it took me about 20 hours. I'm like,
You're missing so much stuff.
it's like, I guess you can do that in 20 hours if you're just doing the, like, critical story, but, like, I'm at 50 hours in that game because part of the fun of those kind of like player driven games is doing the side stuff, seeing those like funny quests, those things like that. So
Side note, that I think the Judgment's lockpicking minigame is pretty fun. I didn't mind it.
see, nah, that's the thing though. That's the thing about lockpicking minigames, Jeff. Everyone always is like, "Hey, that one was fine. I didn't mind it." It's like the best a lockpicking minigame has ever been is like inoffensive or like unintrusive.
I thought
They've never
the
been
Oblivion
good.
one was pretty fun, actually.
You would come up to a lock and be like, "Oh, good, I
Hell
get
yeah.
to pick a lock."
I will
Yes.
say that a good lockpicking game is better than the melee combat in 99% of first-person games, where it's just like you push a button, you see part of an elbow for a split second.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a
Smart
tangent
observation.
there. Well, I don't know. I guess I see tabs up there that say Nyoka and Parvati, so maybe I missed
Yeah.
leveling them up too.
Or customizing their gear.
yeah,
Yeah, that could be.
you know, part of me wants to say I didn't have that much time with it, but I mean, I guess I did play it for an hour. I could have been a little more exhaustive in diving into it, but
Let's just say nobody's perfect. How about that?
nobody's
you know?
perfect.
Just say they didn't let you tab over.
Yeah.
And the guy was very strict and mean about it.
He would see your finger go for
Yeah.
RB and he would slap your hand.
Every time you thought about it, he'd push the button and made your controller bad in combat.
Yeah. Yep.
So are this loot here?
Yeah.
What are you
These-
doing?
This is me trying to figure out the inventory system.
Okay.
Not realizing that when I have a weapon equipped, I can't dump it into the inventory. I'm trying to figure out how to do that here, which is what that boring stuff was all about.
Yeah.
So does
But
it seem
ultimately, what's cool about that is instead of a lot of games that have just like two weapon swapping, you can equip 4. So either that means, at least at this point in the development, you can cycle through the 4 equipped weapons with the Y button, or triangle, or you can hold it and it brings up a wheel, and you can quick select them that way.
So seeing that big DPS number on every gun, does it seem like it was kind of a pursuit of power with the guns you're collecting, or does that go up when you level up? Does it seem like that's a part of the game to collect better and better guns?
Yeah, the guns are part of it, except it's a weird. I think a lot of it depends on how you've built your character. So, for instance, it's not like, oh, I have this heavy machine gun that does 600 DPS, so that's what I'm going to want to use. If you are a character who is not built to use heavy weaponry, that's not necessarily going to be a good thing for you.
In the hour that you played or so, were you able to kind of shape the character at all? Like, is this...
A little bit.
Okay, so what were you going for then?
This as it was given to us. So this character is already like level 10 or 11, and it was built as a sort of generalist.
Okay.
So I guess I didn't get a whole lot of chance. Like the only skill points and stuff I could spend were the ones that I gained as I was playing. I think. So I didn't get that much chance to shape it.
I'm glad he saw you there, by the way. 'cause
Yeah.
I was like, you
I probably had that
too
coming.
dumb to live otherwise.
Might have heard your sprint.
I do.
And that whirring blade tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that power tool.
I hope you like that whirring blade sound.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so I guess the short version is like when I played the earlier part of the game, I had more control over what that character was, but I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Sure. I am very interested in playing this game, period. And as a speech-focused character. We'll see in the stats later, there's like Persuade, Lie, and Intimidate. No, Persuade, yeah, is that the 3?
I don't remember if that...
We'll see later.
Those are options.
But all
Persuade,
these
intimidate,
different speech options, paths to go down. And normally I don't like playing with companions, but I feel like it'd be nice to have in this game.
All right.
I wanted to see what happened, so I gave her some
Messed
sort
up
of
face.
some sort of impediment.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I like the idea of using companions for combat while I focus on the more charismatic skills.
yeah, and there's a whole their build for that. I think they're calling a sort of leader focused thing. So we can see when we'll look at the perks a little later. I think there are perks that you can take that do a lot to influence how your companion's innate skills can sort of contribute to yours. So let's say if you don't have, let's say you don't have a lockpicking skill high enough to open a door. But if you have a leadership skill, you can sort of, and one of your companions does have points in lockpicking, a certain percentage of those points can get sort of applied to your aptitude.
Oh, cool.
So then you can open a door.
Okay.
Things like
I like that.
But then also in combat, you can invest in points, like I was saying before, things that improve your allies in combat, how often they can use their special attacks and things like that. That seems like an interesting and really sort of like versatile build.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Hiram.
Here's Hiram.
I'd be ecstatic at having the walls painted in blood, but this ought to square our debt. One hefty payment. Allow me to pose my question in another.
Sorry, I didn't have a lot of patience for this stuff. I was skipping a lot of dialogue.
Are
Yeah.
you here?
Well, in GT, we're all about showing dialogue the respect it deserves. So how dare you?
Is not the same as
So here we see
although I
persuade, intimidate, and lie, right?
may have earned
I don't have... The reason those are grayed out is because I don't have high enough in those things, but I did have a high enough lie. it
Yeah.
looked like.
And there's no random chance. It's just if you have this stat, you can say this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that with lockpicking too, right? Like if your stat is high enough, you can open the door.
Right.
You don't need to worry about the does it happen or does it not? kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Definitely appreciate that method. You always just end up save scumming it anyway.
Exactly.
tried
Yeah.
So yeah, I like not having to do that.
technically legal, but it would give MSC
Oh yeah, so and then you also have dialogue options. Like if your intelligence score is high enough, you can say you have certain insights in conversations. If your intelligence score is low enough, you get special dumb options, which
Yeah.
I know has been talked about already, but those can be pretty amusing too.
That's such a good idea.
And like it can screw you over sometimes. It seems like you wouldn't necessarily be able to get.
You're telling me.
You wouldn't necessarily get the you wouldn't necessarily get the optimal outcome to every situation.
Yeah.
But also, it seems like it's a fun way to sort of push the direction of the story.
Yeah, and plus, when you
So-
get the big moral resolution at the end of the story, your character is just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
What happened?
What was that again? Yeah. Classic Fallout.
Yeah. I'm super excited for this game. This is a long video. We could have made it shorter, but if I were you, I'd want a long video with a lot of gameplay. Viewer.
I think that this is what's the way to say it? I wasn't necessarily surprised by all of the excitement around this game, but I was very happy to see it because this is the sort of thing we don't need to mince words. This is not the visually most cutting edge game out there,
Sure.
right?
Doesn't need to be.
It looks like an updated sort of. Never mind. I'm killing this guy.
Yeah, you've made a save there, tactical save.
Yep. Turns out I didn't end up going back. I just kept.
Oh,
I guess all I mean to say is that I am very, very glad that there is an appetite out there for this game. I thought I was sort of. Sometimes you feel like you're a little alone in wanting experiences that feel a little throwback in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there are other people out there who want this.
yeah.
How's Nyoka doing?
Not great. It seems like companions, they don't die permanently. They just collapse in the battlefield.
How many people... Oh, there you go, level 12. How many
Yeah.
people do you kill permanently? Like, can you kill quest givers and that kind of thing?
Yes.
So that guy's dead.
That guy's... And well, she's mad about it.
Oh, nice. It was an accident.
Now, if you'll remember, he actually died because I told her to open fire on him.
No, it was the hammer person. He got the big hammer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Eventually he did. I think I opened with Nyoka gunning him down.
Well, maybe
Agree
she
to
didn't know that
disagree.
would kill him.
What's with the pleasure?
So yeah, now we're to the point where Hiram gave us the next step of this quest, which is search the outpost, but it's not an outpost that's here on this planet. So we're not going to be able to do that.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily get to see all of the consequences of having killed Hiram apart from Nyoka being a little bit ticked off that we did it.
Well, he probably won't be at the party at the end, right?
Good.
He'll show up in a wheelchair.
The big end game party, like
Yep.
all games have.
Exactly.
Anders can be a
But Leo, to go back to a point, this is something they've talked about before, but
He had a flower
in case you haven't been following the game,
down the Raptidon.
they
Dirty Don.
apparently you can kill everyone in the game.
Stood drenched
Except your
in blood,
companions.
entrails
Right.
of a
But
dozen
like
raps. Yeah.
townspeople, quest givers. The game is sort of built to accommodate that.
Yeah, I wonder how open-ended it is if you kill like a mainline story quest giver. Can you just play this run in perpetuity with no ending?
I think
Yeah, does it give you a heads up?
part of the way they talk about that stuff is making sure that if you kill so this
I
is,
just noticed that botched category for quests.
yeah you get so
love that.
we'll rack a quest up in the botched section here, assuming that the footage made it. There are going to be some folks standing outside a cave, some mercenaries who want me to go in there and do something for them.
Yeah, we'll see that.
And I say I will.
And no spoilers for where it goes from there.
But we saw in the quest description that it wants me to go to Emerald Vale to search the outpost.
Yeah.
That's somewhere else.
You opted out of hacking there. Did you see the hacking at all? Do you know what it's like?
The hacking.
It's just the
Is there also
Timer,
not a
isn't it?
mini game for it? You know, just hold X or whatever.
I think you just I think if you have the skill, you just do it. I don't think there's a mini game for it. I guess I don't know for sure.
like, we don't like lockpicking, but hacking.
Yeah, much better.
We
Much
put all
more
our
interesting.
resources into a hacking.
Hacking is
minigame.
cool.
Anyway, so Leo, to answer to get to that point is, I think if you kill a main quest giver, the idea is there's always a way to progress, like always a way to get the information you need.
Oh,
So
interesting.
if someone has information that you need about where you need to go, maybe they tell you, but if you kill them, maybe they just drop a data pad that tells you that.
Okay.
That's not to say though that it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You are definitely going to, like, if you are playing as just a serial killer and you're just murdering everyone,
Which people will do.
you are going to close content off for yourself. I asked the folks at Obsidian about this. It's not like they feel some great pressure to like, well, we have to be sure that we have exactly equivalent paths for good people and murderous people. Like, you are sort of deliberately closing doors for yourself if you're just headshotting quest givers and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
But that doesn't prevent you from, like seeing the main story through to its conclusion.
Or like if you accidentally in a firefight shoot an explosive barrel and there just happens to be a quest giver nearby. It's a bummer if that's like an accidental action and you've.
Yeah, exactly. So here's Donald Anderson. He's
All right. That guy should stand by an explosive barrel.
yeah.
First things first.
So these guys,
Little Wright Brothers parody here.
Randomize. That's what it looks like.
What are your
these just look like
Devil's Peak
like
Station?
guys who are trying to make a steampunk Halloween costume.
Well,
But it's like not a character, just like, who are you? I'm steampunk gentleman.
I'm here to tell you about nutrition. Ugh.
Wait, why would they get
He just seems like a guy who goes to your school. You're like, hey, I hear you like steampunk, but how about celery punk?
How about steamed broccoli?
President and CEO. Hands on.
gonna use the difference engine to make some stir fry?
Going on 6 hours now.
Okay, so they want me to find this dude named Bertold who's
cold-blooded, ain't he, Donald?
in a cave.
Done.
We're caught up.
Use this. Or his body. The guy calls
How'd you like talking to people? Is the dialogue well written?
starring one of those fancy broadcast productions.
Yeah,
Don, I don't
I
Notice
No further questions.
well, no. I guess so. Here's. I felt a little bit of a time crunch here. Like I had limited time to play.
Yeah.
So, and because it's not an actual, like I'm not reviewing or assessing it, I kind of didn't want to burn all of my time just going through dialogue.
Oh, you wanted to burn through all your time burning through all.
Burning through NPCs.
Everybody gave you dialogue.
I found it really
Oh.
effective to just go open up with those companion attacks.
And
They
opening,
look great.
your opening gambit is just all of your attacks.
Yeah. And then,
Oh,
You blinded him?
he's just got a big purple cloud. For
and
a
there's your
face now.
favorite, there's your melee elbow, Jeff.
Yep.
It's me using my rotating mace thing.
Problem solved.
Yep. So now that quest is botched. I don't think it'll let me finish that.
Well, you
at
did
this
your
point.
best.
Yeah. I mean, I really
Are you
tried.
telling me this is botched?
It seems like a success to
Huh.
me.
All right, Obsidian, I guess.
Something that's been really bothering me, pissing me off, I'll say.
Yes.
In the upper left, that A button times
Yeah.
2 with the sprinting guy, what does that do?
if you do it twice, it's like a not a dash and not a roll, but like a sidestep sort of thing. But I think they have the icon there because it's on cooldown.
So you press A twice to do it?
Yeah, so if you double
So
tap
8 times 2 is what
yeah,
it is.
so if you double tap A, you sort of do a little jaunt, but then you have to wait like a couple seconds before you can do it again. So you can't just like shimmy all over the battlefield.
Sure.
So did anyone from Obsidian like stop and watch you play?
No.
Okay, because they probably would have been very distressed if they saw that you were killing all the NPCs.
Oh man, I want to talk about this this stuff here real quick.
Please.
Take a look at how it's set up. I think there's a really smart system where all of your skills sort of fall under different umbrellas, right? So it's like the dialogue umbrellas or the dialogue sort of category.
Tech
Yeah.
and stealth.
And ranged category. Oh man, then we have perks here that we have to talk about too. Take a look at some of these perks effects before we forget.
Yeah, pause on these if you want to read them.
Yeah. Okay. Companion ability cooldown, that's one of them. So what I like about that skill system, about having different skills in larger categories, is that you don't need to invest in individual skills for a while.
But you can't.
Not exactly.
Oh.
This is what I like about it, is that eventually you have to. But let's say you're just starting the game. You haven't played it before, and you don't know, like, do you like heavy weapons or melee weapons? Do you like ranged weapons or melee weapons? What kind of ranged weapons do you like? Do you like heavy weapons or like rifles? Or if you're into like the speech skills, the dialogue skills you were talking about, Leo, is that like, do you prefer lying? Do you prefer persuading? Do you prefer intimidate? So the way you invest in those is up to a certain threshold. You just invest in the category. So
Yeah.
if you're like, hey, I like the dialogue skills, you just pour points into dialogue and it raises all 3 of the dialogue skills. Each one gets a point for each point you invest in that category. Until you hit, I think, until a skill hits 50. And then you have to start investing your points in it individually.
Okay.
So you can get yourself up to a threshold pretty quickly to get a taste of what all the different skills offer. But then if you want that like high level of performance and aptitude out of them,
Yeah, it's like specializing.
yeah, then it basically gives you an easy way to become proficient in reasonably proficient in a lot of things quickly, to figure out what you like and what you want to specialize.
That's
in.
perfect, because like how many games do you play where it's just like, hey, energy weapons are really fun. I like watching people turn into a skeleton, and then you're like, oh, there's not a lot of ammo for energy weapons out there.
Exactly. And there's or in this case, this game has special weapons called science weapons. It's like we talked about the shrink ray in our cover story coverage of it. But those aren't necessarily governed by the same like if you have a high handgun skill, you aren't necessarily going to be great at using the shrink ray, because they're science weapons. You need like intelligence and science skill for it. So I think that's a cool way to, like a sort of combat payoff for skills that aren't typically combat related.
Yeah.
I guess.
What do you guys think of the style of what we've seen so far? The design.
We lost 2 runners and
I really like it.
Me too.
I think visually it has a cool identity of that kind of frontier old western sort of feel.
But very colorful.
Yeah. I think, what did they call it? Like, I'm trying to think of the exact term. They showed us a piece of concept art when we were at the studio that they described, I think, as like steampunk deadwood, which I think is a sort of a good encapsulation, and I think that's realized pretty well with what they've got. And like I was saying before, even though it's not like cutting edge graphically, I think it has, like, I really like the art direction. I think that if you can sort of nail that stylistic thing, like Leo said, when you can be like, when it's colorful, when it has a sort of cohesive visual identity to it, I don't think you necessarily need to be able to say like, look how realistic this face is.
Yeah, and I think beyond just the face, the fact that he's like gesturing with his hands is nice, rather than someone standing like a mannequin. 2 feet in front of your face and jibber jabbering around.
Yeah. Sorry, to make another Bethesda comparison, do people just yell at you as you walk by? Just say things about their world to you?
I think so.
Good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't recall specifically. So this guy is the head of like a religious cult called the Iconoclasts. He sort of got a lieutenant over there that they want me to do some stuff for him.
Free folk.
So they're a faction on the planet Monarch, and we didn't get to see. We didn't have the time to really dive into how all this works, but let's just say once this quest that I'm doing for them is over, I try to see if I can kill them and get away with it.
Let's just say you won't believe what happens next.
You won't believe what happens next. When I asked them about sort of like the consequences that would have. So let's say you do this quest, you kill everyone, you get out of the town.
Wonderful.
It's not necessarily like, well, you get away. Like, what's the way? So even though that like I would close off quest lines with them and the Iconoclast faction, there may be other factions that are at odds with the Iconoclast that I haven't even met or don't know about yet that would be pretty happy. Like I may have unknowingly ingratiated myself to a whole other group on this planet because I wiped out, these guys.
So keep telling yourself that, Joe.
So
my new best friend might like my bad stuff.
This has got to appeal to someone.
So they want me to go talk to a woman named Carletta, I think.
Okay.
So this is me being real scared as I'm walking through an area and I see some mantis or raptor things over there.
You got an optional objective now? That's for extra XP, I assume? Is there anything more to it than that you know of?
Not that I know of. I don't even know if it's extra XP as much as it would like influence the course of the story, because what we didn't dig into there is that so Graham, the guy in charge of the Iconoclast, wants extra cartridges, but Zora, his lieutenant, wants supplies. So he's all about getting the word, like spreading the word of the Iconoclast and getting it out there. And Zora's like, our people are not going to survive without more supplies. We like need to help morale before we just like try and spread the message.
Excuse me, but
Niles
this
Crane.
So you just choose which one.
That's my nice way of telling you to sod off.
Niles
So-
Crane glowed up. Damn.
These Marauder guys are
We're fixing a leaky generator.
outside of the warehouse that Carlotta's in.
Yeah, she's inside. We got
So
first rights,
I need
though.
to sort of figure out how to get through that.
Boss.
And you're meant to be intimidated by this person.
I mean,
Just gonna let
not
you walk
necessarily.
in?
He wants me
Why's
to.
that now?
Can you wear the hat that his body leaves?
So I didn't actually have to kill him.
What?
I used lie and told him that I'm here to investigate a mantis swarm infestation. And he just took all of his slugs with him, so I didn't even have to fight him.
Excellent.
Very smart.
I'm going to be a big liar.
You're going to do that a lot?
I'm going to be a lying man.
Relax. Who are you anyway? Oh, finally. Tell Sanjar's declared a stop sale to you lot, but even if he hadn't,
The one piece of dialogue we've been respectful to for some reason.
Yeah, sorry.
Intercom speaks, we listen.
I don't know how you got those goons.
It's very shiny in there.
Graham ordered rollers and whatsits, right? Like I said, this is my last.
I like the depth of field in these conversations.
Yeah, it's a cool effect. So I did the main thing, and now I have to decide whether I'm going to ask her for like supplies or the like high capacity print cartridges.
What do you want delivered?
And I chose cartridges.
All my regards.
Smart.
Yep.
And now,
It's really interesting.
No.
now take the other thing. You can't take both, can you?
No, you can't do it. But like it's really weird to play a game like this for just like an hour or two.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's got this like you really want to see how your choices unfold. You want to
Yeah.
see the consequences for these things. You want to get a sense of the world and the characters, and like this little taste of it is really encouraging. Like it has me really excited to play more of this game.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So you want to build your character, build your
exactly,
story.
but it's also weird to jump in for such a little bit that's like that I don't get to keep. You know, I am looking forward to being invested in the action of this game a little more. You know,
Are you going to kill as many quest givers?
no, absolutely not. I am compulsive about
Chicken.
optimization in that case when it's my own game. But you know, I guess the big takeaway for me after playing it is like I saw it at E3, it looked good. I saw it earlier this year when we visited the studio, it looked good.
Bullshit, Graham.
And
Don't just abandon orders.
I get for me wanting to get my hands on it, what I wanted to see is like, is this game like what it's appeared to be, right? Is it this like? Does it feel like what it's sort of been presented as this like sci-fi, Fallout-y, open world, choice driven,
New Vegas
like-
spiritual
yeah,
successor.
like do all of those kind of like buzzwords and hype that's gotten like swept up around this game, like how does that all bear out? And I think like again, after only playing for a little bit, I can't make final judgments on it, but like I came away from this feeling like, yeah, this is what I wanted it to be.
They're doing it.
Oh, great.
Like, yeah, exactly. They're doing it.
Yeah.
This like nothing about the way it's been presented or talked about feels like disingenuous, doesn't seem like a smokescreen. It's like, wow, this is a game that has like a lot of choice options. It feels very adaptive to like what you as a player want to do, not only in how you build your character, but how you interact with the world, and even on a smaller level, like how you approach a given combat scenario or something. So it seems like that level of choice and their ability to follow through on that is probably what impressed me the most in this little section that I had.
Yeah,
But then
everything
otherwise, like like the combat feels good, and yeah, it's just I came away. I was very disappointed to have to put the controller down. I wanted to keep playing.
Yeah, this has all been very encouraging.
And then you did that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think I make it out of this one.
Oh.
I don't do so bad either. I mean, this is a whole stronghold
Right.
filled with bad guys.
Exactly.
Well,
Right.
they weren't bad guys, but they are now.
This is relative, you know.
anyone is a bad guy in this game.
Iconoclasts are now mixed. They're not sure how to feel about you.
Yeah. Kind of a wait and see.
Oh, and that med pack thing that I was using, by the way, is like it seems like it's not like an immediate health recharge. It seems like it ups your regen for a little while.
Okay.
Is that a consumable or a cooldown?
It's on a cooldown.
Okay.
That's what's on RB, that little like med kit up in the far right.
Oh no.
That's well, he's not shooting at you.
I feel like I was doing okay until that part, and then there we go.
Until they killed you.
Yep.
Well, Joe, thanks
Flustered.
anyway.
Yeah.
When's this come out? Haha, I gotcha. You don't know.
What an
I
asshole.
forget the date. October
Oh no,
They're
Joe, you've let everyone down.
5th? I don't know.
Yeah, how are we supposed to trust anything this guy says?
Wow, you've let us down for the last time, Juba.
Shocking.
October 25th.
Okay, so say that cleanly.
October 25th.
Excellent. On, and you can play it on.
You can play it on PS4, Xbox One, PC,
Epic Game Store, baby.
And
and they announced a Switch version. Though I don't know if that's coming out on the.
I think it's coming out later.
Okay.
But you'll be able to play it on the go, as they say. Speaking of go, we're gonna go. Bye.
Bye.
Ha ha ha. What a fantastic episode of New Gameplay today. Come back every week for fun, informational looks at new releases and early previews of unreleased games. Ha ha ha. Stay subscribed and I guarantee there will be an episode about Cyberpunk 2077 at some point down the line.